from what moment this became to you like a business, and for how long did you do NLP like a passion? I know that you are going with passion yet.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about how long do you dedicate without earns?
Well, I think I think my contribution, like I was saying, is that really I could write things down. So I was writing the very first things, even 2 years before the NLP book, NLP Volume 1, 2 or 3 years before that. I was writing. For me, NLP was the thing that I was passionate about. Like I said, not so much hypnosis or therapy, because many of the other people they didn't care about NLP. They cared about therapy, and they didn't really care what Bandler and Grinder were doing so much. So for me, I was very passionate about this. I really felt, wow, this is something new. It's something that could change the world. So, and I had the ability to write. I could take something and structure it and write it. And so Bandler and Grinder found that to be helpful. And so, but I think there's a certain time, I was also young, 20 years old. I didn't have a family. I didn't need very much money. And I really realized, wow, this is the time in my life when I'm not paying for a house, I don't have many expenses. I can really follow my passion. I don't have to worry about, oh gosh, I have to get a job.
Yeah, that's my question. Exactly. How long could you do that? How long? Because in a moment you
started,
need a house. You need.
Well, because we started in the beginning, nobody was making much money with NLP. Not even Bandler and Grinder. It wasn't a money making thing.
Yeah.
I think that's the important thing to realize. Nobody really made money with it. So the people that were originally involved weren't involved because they thought, oh, this is a good way to make money. It was, we're passionate about this. But we would do things like run, because the model, we were always modeling Bandler and Grinder, and they were running these groups. So we started to do our own groups with students. But maybe we charge $5. So we make a little bit of money. And I didn't, and I did have I was doing some other work, and I knew technical drawing. I earned some money doing other things.
So, okay. That's,
but NLP was my passion.
NLP was your passion, but you need to work.
But I would say when
thing.
I really became.
So in a moment you should say, okay, now I can go live from NLP.
Yeah, and I would say that moment came when the first time I was hired to go outside of like just Santa Cruz, where I was doing little groups. Steve Andreas hired me to come to Colorado. I think it was like for $100 a day to teach a workshop. For me, in those days, wow, $300.
You were teaching to Steve Andreas,
and he had a small group of people, and so. But I got to travel to another state and was teaching NLP.
So Steve Andreas and Conrad Andreas, they were taught from you.
They were. Well, they had also learned from. They went to some class with. They had gone to a class with Bandler and Grinder. But then they went back to Colorado and they wanted to keep learning. They didn't want to have to go and follow Bandler and Grinder. They wanted to bring someone there. And because I had written some things and stuff, they said, oh, will you come? And so I would just go and stay at their house. And Steve Andreas, he, by that time, he was a fairly well-known person in the Gestalt therapy area. His mother, Steve Andreas' mother, was big, Barry Stevens was her name, and she was very close with Fritz Perls. And so Steve Andreas was sort of known, and so people would come, and then they saw me, and then I started getting hired by other people, and then that started to become my profession. Yeah. But then the other main thing that happened is that because Bandler and Grinder were also becoming more successful, they wanted to create something. They didn't just want to go around and doing workshops. So they started that's what we started here in Santa Cruz, the first NLP trainings. So they started bringing together the people that they thought were the best in NLP. So it was me and Judy and Leslie, who was Richard's wife, and David Gordon. So there was a group of us, and then we started really the first professional NLP practitioner and trained these trainings. And then it was definitely my career.
Well, Robert,
so
I want to give you thanks.
You're welcome.
For your time.
Yeah. It's always fun to talk about the original times.
The story. I know you must have a lot of
there's a lot of
story, and I know that you are a world storyteller. But time is we are tight, so I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome to Argentina.
I can see also that you're passionate about this.
Yeah, I want to know a lot of things to close my vision.
There's another thing. I don't know if Michael has it in there. There's a DVD on the early days of NLP. Check it because it's an interview with Tim Halbrook with me, and we were talking about the early days. I can give you some other stories.
Okay.
Wow.
Check it out. So, thank you. I hope to see you in Argentina.
Okay.